Hello, everyone. This is the Reactor League podcast with Liam Caddison here, and today we're going to be discussing Doctor Who Series 10. And today I have with me a very amazing person, another fellow Whovian, probably one of the biggest ones, Torchwood Boy. Hello, Torchwood Boy. So, how are you? Have you recovered after this weekend's Doctor Who finale?
No. I laid on the kitchen floor for 20 minutes. There's just so much I want to talk about, so I'm still in shock through half of it.
Well, before we do delve into the shocks and whatnot, I just want to throw out a spoiler warning here. Even if you've caught up to episode 11, we're going to be discussing the full stuff because there is so much to talk about with Doctor Who Series 10. It was just an amazing series altogether, but also an amazing finale. So if you've not seen all of Doctor Who, now's your chance to get out before you get spoiled. So with that said, hopefully everyone's clicked off. First and foremost, what are your overall thoughts about the series 10 of Doctor Who?
It's not a. I'm going to start out right out of the gate with a negative, right? Okay. It's not the greatest series I've ever watched. It was until the very end. There were no bad episodes. I don't know if you found that, but I found there were no bad episodes, but there were no amazing episodes either. It was just very good all the way through.
I agree. I felt that. I mean, there were like episodes that were considerably weaker than others, but they were still really good when you watched them. Like, you didn't really have a problem.
But there was no, like, I mean, in Series 8, when you got like Listen and Mummy on the Orient Express, and then, you know, so you had those two episodes that were like standalone episodes, but we didn't get that this time. We did get a lot of standalones, but nothing that really stuck out to me, and I was like, wow, until the finale, of course.
Yeah, one of the things that I noticed about Series 10 is it really didn't have an arc. They just went on adventure to adventure until we got to, you know, the Cybermen, and that was the whole thing. I mean, the closest we got to the arc was, I guess, the Doctor Regeneration, because he kept mentioning it every episode, and then he played that cruel prank on us all in episode 8, was it? The last one of the Monk episodes. But yeah, that's the closest we've really gotten of a continuation of the series. But like you said, there was no real bad episodes, but there was no standout episodes, I felt.
That's it. We did get a little bit of an arc with Missy as well, and the Vault, and sort of like her build up to like whether she'd redeem herself or not. But apart from that, yeah, it was very an arc-like series, and I don't think that helped me enjoy it anymore, because I do like a good arc. I do.
Oh yeah, you gotta build a story, something that, you know, like has some tension. And like you said, Missy was probably the. I think I read somewhere it was supposed to be something like friendship, and that's obviously what the Doctor wanted from Missy, and we got that near at the end, and it kind of paid off as well, but the Doctor didn't know about it because the Master.
Heartbreaking.
That was tragic. Not just only because we didn't want Michelle Gomez to go, but because of the fact that the Doctor didn't even know that she chose to side with him.
Yeah, it's for me it was so sad. It was so sad, especially the point where you realize that she killed herself to stop her in the future standing with the Doctor. All right, he killed herself, I suppose that's a better way to say it, but you know what I mean. Like, sometimes you forget.
It was quoted in my reaction, like when I said she killed himself, like, yeah. That was, I was wondering how they were going to, I was hoping, because obviously we got that great return of John Simm. And I was wondering how are they going, because they're obviously going to try and make him go to regenerate into Missy, which is what we got when Missy killed him, which was done shockingly. I didn't even think that Missy would double cross, I guess, herself.
I think Michelle Gomez just acted the shit out of it. Excuse my French, but she was brilliant. Like, especially when she's like, come here, come here. Even I didn't twig then. I was like, what's going on? And then she sort of like, and I loved the description when she was like, I loved being you. It kind of reminded me of the 10th Doctor and the 5th Doctor in Time Crash.
Yeah.
When he says, I loved being you, you were my favorite. And she's like, I loved being you. You were like a burning sun, and I'll always miss that. And he sort of looks at her, and I sort of started to clue on a little bit then, but it wasn't until he like looked at his hand and there was blood on it. I thought,
yeah,
holy.
I was just so shocked about that. Like, it was something I would never have predicted at all. Like, the Master killing the Master, basically, obviously killing the Master. It was just so amazing done. And then we had that where the Master killed Missy in Revenge, and
that shocked me. That really shocked me.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is the same thing Russell did to Stephen. Have Chibnall create a challenge for the Master to return, and because that was kind of the case with the Master saving the Doctor. You think, wait, so where do we go on here? How is the Master going to, react, and how is he going to be the same thing again when he does come back? Because these two have been nemesis, and the Master saves the Doctor's life. So I think that's a challenge for Chibnall when he does take over.
Definitely. I would love to see the I know this sounds weird, but I was thinking about this earlier and yesterday, a little bit of yesterday as well. My hope is that the Master will return, and you will see, whether it's a he or a she, you will see a much nicer side to them. But they'll still be like the bad guy. I don't think even if Missy stood with him that day, I still think eventually she would have reverted to type. But I still think that we'll definitely, even under Chibnall especially, we'll definitely see more of that friendship when and if the Master does return. But I think
I was just thinking, like, would Missy remember her decision to turn nice? Because we've obviously got that. Although then again, she's the latest model, so she probably would return. She would remember. But that was. What did you think of over John Simm returning as well? Because he's had that 7-year gap, is it, since he last played the Master? What did you think about him returning in the, I guess, 2 episodes he returned in?
Well, I would have preferred it to have been a shock, I'll be honest.
Don't we all?
But
son,
the British media decided to ruin it and force the BBC's hand, so the BBC complied and showed us him. I would have much rather to have preferred to have seen it just happen then, but that's here and there. But I think that he was much more toned down than previous times. He didn't have but I think that suits the character as well, because the drumming was gone, and it was sort of a return to the sensible Master in a way. Still with his witty banter and everything, but a lot less crazy, if you know what I mean.
When you speak about witty banter, I think the thing I loved most was when he was talking to Cyber Bill, and he was talking about tips about being a woman, and that was just gold.
Yeah, and I don't know why, but the line where she goes, "I am not upset," and obviously she is. Which goes, "I am not upset," and he goes, "Oh, well, that takes all the fun out of insulting people, doesn't it?" And then he goes, "I may as well go and rile the fridge," and that just killed me. I don't know what about that line got to me, but I just loved it.
I have to say, I think this has probably been his best performance out of his tenure. I mean, he was really awesome in his first 3-part. Well, it was 2.5 if you count his Regeneration, but I really much enjoyed it, and the fact that they made him more like the classical Masters was a really nice touch, because he obviously dressed like the classical Masters, even appeared like them, so it was really great for, like, I guess those classic fans who were a bit upset that the Master was a bit different.
Yes, yeah, definitely. 100%.
So what did you think about? Now, this is another character that got a bit of complaints and whatnot, and it was Nardole. Like, some people were a bit iffy about why he was joining as the third companion, second companion rather than Jack or whoever. So overall, how do you feel about Nardole?
You know what? I was definitely someone who was like, what? When they announced him, I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
But I've sort of grown to love him in a way. He was a welcome relief of comic relief. I think the best way to describe Nardole in this series was he was pointless fun, because really we didn't need him, but it did add something to the series, and it did make it a little bit lighter in the situations that were probably quite dark. And I still love to this day the bit where, even if it was just for this scene alone, I think I would appreciate it, where the Doctor fake regenerates and Bill's like, you were in on it, and he goes, yeah, and she goes, I'm gonna beat that shit. It was just absolutely hilarious.
I didn't blame her. I was just in a state of shock, but it was so fun how like, oh, that was just really amazing. But yeah, I've got to agree that I've really grown on Nardole. I was like you. I was a bit skeptical about why he returned and that, but overall, I think he's been nicely done.
I still don't know why he returned. Don't get me wrong. I don't think there was a point to him, but I did like how the character worked. I did like it.
Yeah, I only think they brought him back, so I don't know, as if it was a continuation of the Husbands of River song, because obviously Nardole first appeared there, and the Doctor was still in a bit of grief over the fact that he knew she was going to the library to meet Ten. So
yeah,
that's
I think
why I only
did a job. So,
but no, I really loved him in this series. I mean, yes, some points you just wanted to punch him, and that, especially when he kept going on about the oath that the Doctor made. I was just like, let him go. He's a time traveler. I know he made this promise, but who cares?
This is what he does.
No, but overall, he's been a really great inclusion. I was going to ask you, like, how did you feel about the way he departed? Because I've seen a lot of comments about people speculating what happens next to him, and how tragic that is. So, how do you think they handled that?
I mean, I liked the open-endedness of it. He could either, he might. I think you have to use your imagination. It's left down to the viewer. Yeah. He might escape the ship. He might get out with all the kids and Hazran, or they all might meet horrific, gruesome ends. So it's a bit of both. But I would kind of like to see the Doctor go back for them in the Christmas special a little bit, just as one final,
Yeah. So, I really like the fact that we've gotten open ideas over certain characters' fate. It's kind of brings me back to the end of time, where it wasn't really confirmed who that woman was, but everyone was just like,
oh, it was still the Doctor's mom. You had to.
Oh yeah, definitely. But you had Russell say, "Oh, it could be Susan. It could be,
Why would Susan be on Gallifrey? She was on Earth. Well, that makes no sense."
Yeah, I would start to go back to my Big Finish days and figure out why did she stay on Earth to grieve, then return to Gallifrey. But yeah, I really, especially with what was going on at the time. But yeah, like you said, the open-endedness about Nardole's fate, I really like that. But yeah, the Monk trilogy, though. What did you think about that? Because when I heard that was being done, like, oh, we're going to do a 3-parter, and it's going to be based around this new idea of the monks. We didn't really get much about them, but I was a bit curious. But how did you feel overall now that's out the way?
I was quite excited for it. I thought new species, new rules. We're going to find out a lot about this species. We're going to find out what they want and everything. And it kind of just fell a little bit flat, honestly. It wasn't bad, but we didn't get any backstory to them. We didn't know who they were really, what they wanted really. It was definitely more character-based, but I think what really held this story back was the fact it was written by 3 different people.
Oh yeah,
if
it's going to be a bit of a cluster.
Write them all yourself, Moffat, or get Toby Whitehouse to write them all himself. After the God complex, I would place my trust in that man's hands completely. So, Yeah, I still don't quite understand the point of that story.
Yeah, I mean, looking back at it now, especially part 3, when the monks really had no involvement, it was just the head monk that was just there, and then the monks should have really picked up on something that like they were going to stop this new world, and they were just brushed aside like, oh, okay, whatever. And then they were made cannon fodder when like everything was going down inside that pyramid. So
they just run away. I don't.
Yeah, it felt a bit weak. I mean, I liked their idea. Like, it was really intriguing because first they tested out the Earth in that simulation.
Extremist, I really liked. A lot of people didn't like it, but I really liked it.
Oh, I really loved it. I saw comments saying that it was boring and whatever, and it was too confusing. But I just sat and I was just like, oh wow.
Yeah.
So especially how they styled it as well. Like, you had the Doctor put his glasses on, read the message, and then after the title, it was all just a simulation. That was just really neatly done. It
was really clever, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I just don't know, what the kind of, after that episode, what the point was of the rest of them. I wasn't sure. I was like, oh, it would have been good as an episode on its own, maybe.
Yeah.
Sort of see what was coming for maybe next season, but obviously, or series, because obviously, with Chris Trimble taking over, that's not a possibility. But I would have liked Extremist to maybe be like a one-part episode, and it just blew the minds of everyone. That would have been much cooler than the 3 parts we got.
So overall, I mean, this might be a stupid question, but what's your favorite episode then of Series 10?
Oh, my favorite episode, I think it's got to be the Doctor Falls, which I have to say, and I'm going to say this now. I'm going to get the bashing out of the way. I think it's definitely the first episode of a Moffat series, or in fact, probably of any series since. In fact, I'm going to say this. I'm going to probably get
shields up.
I think it's not only my favorite series finale ever, but without the Big Bang and the Parting of the Ways, they are the only 2 stories I can think that have been better than their previous story. The rest of finales usually have the best episode, like Dark Water, and then Death in Heaven came in a little bit lower.
Yeah.
But the Doctor Falls was just a notch above World Enough in Time, and I thought that was extraordinary.
Yeah, because like you said, the past few have been really dismal. I mean, especially a lot of people really love Hellbent, so.
Well, I don't mind Hellbent, but
no, I don't. It's just a lot of people really give that episode so much heat, and I can see why. I mean, Heaven Sent took a lot to beat, but
I think it's more the Clara aspects of that story than the actual story itself. With
a lot of people. I think Clara was one of the main reasons why people were really in favor for Hellbent.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I mean, you say that the Doctor Falls was better than World Enough in Time, and I think I might have to agree, because there was just so much going on in that episode, and it was just really emotional, really amazing.
Yeah.
But as you said again, it's one of the few finales where the last episode really continued in quality from the previous episode, which
without a doubt, yeah.
In the past few years, well, yeah, the previous episode really excelled tenfold, I guess.
Yeah.
especially with the Cybermen as well, because one of my biggest complaints about Doctor Who is how, weakened they've been. And I guess a lot of people might think, well, they weren't really strong when they were fighting against the Doctor, but that was such an epic scene when he just blew all them up and named their, I guess, origin places.
The series ever, actually.
Yeah, it was just so freaking amazing, and then it was obviously backed up with Heaven Sent music.
That's one hell of a bird.
But no, I think this finale also utilized the strength of the Cybermen in a way, because of, you know, how much of a fight, and one managed to actually, well, I guess two technically, unless that was the same Cyberman, but well, no, it wasn't, because that one died. But they both managed to make the Doctor weaken and start his regeneration. So
it was just magnificent, really. And I have to use a big word like that because it really was.
Yeah. Okay, so a lot of people, I'm just continuing the theme of the finale. I assume you've seen the comments about people bitching that Moffat did what he did to Clara to Bill.
I have.
Yeah. What? Give us your opinions.
It is similar. I can't deny that. But the thing that annoys me about the people who moan about Clara is that I don't think they realize she still does die. We have seen Clara die.
That's my point. It's just taking the long way around, really.
That's it. She's still going to the street. She's still going to face the Raven, and she still dies. We still see her dead body on the floor at the end of Face the Raven. That Clara could be tens of billions of years old, but she's still dead at the end of it. Bill has gone off, and she's become a different kind of creature, and she's alive. She's happy. So I do think they're different endings, because while Clara can seemingly go on forever, which is definitely true, she still has to die at some point, whereas Bill would seem to be some kind of like almost immortal creature now. So I think that's very interesting, and I think it's very, I think going forward we're going to see a lot more comparison between the two, but you have to realize at the end of the day Bill got her happy ending, whereas Clara just put off her terrible ending, you know?
Yeah. I mean, she's got a happy how many years she travels, because she still travels
now.
Yeah, it could be billions. And like you said, she's got the worst outcome as well. But I don't know. I mean, when I saw Bill go off with Heather, and I thought that was a really beautiful ending, because it's just like, I don't know, ascending to heaven, really. I guess in Doctor Who's sake. And yeah, I really had no problems with how they wrote Bill off. I thought it was beautiful, and like you said, with the Clara situation, I'm not trying to turn this into a Clara debate. Don't go there. But as you said, Clara still dies. It's just instead of just going for 1 to 2, it goes for 1 to 1.5 to 2. It's just alternative route. So
yeah,
she's still dead.
Yeah, no.
I mean, yes, she's immortal, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna miss Bill, definitely. I mean, I do wish the rumors weren't true about her only staying on for 1 season, but it is what it is.
You know, I think that's just, you know, the handing of, you know, the changing of the reins with Steve leaving and Chris taking over. So I don't think there was much we could do about that one.
Yeah, I mean, Chris wants a completely reboot as well.
Yes,
new everything. He's basically doing what Moffat did in Series 5 when he writes over Series 11. We're nearing that time though, with Chris. So what are your opinions? Like, how do you feel as his time as head writer comes near?
The man has never wrote a good episode of Doctor Who ever, so I'm kind of scared. Although I have to admit, 42 was a good episode. I lied. 42, I liked 42. And also, I hated it at first. I hated it. Dinosaurs on a spaceship. Oh, I hated that episode. And now, you know what? I look back and I absolutely love it. Because I think the reason I hated it was because I wanted Oswin Oswald to appear so badly again. The Daleks. I wanted Jenna Coleman to show up, and she didn't, and I held it against that episode for so long.
Wow.
Dinosaurs on a Spaceship is actually a really good episode, so it's very emotional, and I like that. I really do like that.
I will admit that I am a fan favorite of the Silurian 2-parter. It was just really fun to watch.
That one was just sort of like it was a very Doctor Who episode. I don't know if you can describe it any better than that. I wasn't the biggest fan, but I did enjoy it, so I understand what you mean. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a bit nervous about how he might handle Doctor Who. I haven't really given Broadchurch a watch, so I'm not really sure how. I mean, obviously, this is different surroundings, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how his writing is going to be in contrast to that, because
the first season of Broadchurch, which is the only one I've watched, I do mean to watch the other two, but you know, I don't know if you find this, but reacting to 45-minute TV shows seems to take up a lot of your nights.
Yeah.
So I never got the chance, but the first season of Broadchurch is just incredible. So I am hopeful, if anything.
Well, I'm sure that he might do a good job. Maybe
I'm sure he might.
He might. I'm giving the man a chance, so that's good. But I'm not sure because Moffat, of course, before he took over the helm, I mean, he wrote probably the best one at the time. Even though wasn't it you who said Blink was not your personal favorite? I'm not sure who did.
No, Blink is not my personal favorite, but I do not deny it's not a classic. It is a classic.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
But I think a lot of people gave a bit more hope on Moffat because of his history of writing, and then suddenly you have a lot of people who suddenly hate Moffat for the decision. So
you're never going to please
the past
everyone,
might not.
So I think he just has to do his best, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, it can't be worse than, I don't know, the 80s had on offer, because that was a complete travesty.
Or Love and Monsters. Nothing could be
We don't talk about that episode. We don't talk about that episode. I was going to say this in a continuation to your favorite episode, but I know you spoke about how Doctor Who hasn't had really any amazing stories before the finales happened. So what would be your least favorite episode?
Of Series 10?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, because nothing really stuck out to me. Like, you know, Series 6, my favorite ever episode of The Doctor's Wife. You know, Series 7, you know, you had Angels Take Manhattan. You had, well, I suppose that was a mid-season finale. But, you know, in fact, I'd say Series 7 was probably the closest to this one, because that one didn't have that many standout episodes. But the more I look back on it and the more I enjoyed Asylum of the Daleks, you know, the first half was much better than the second half. But I think my least favorite of Series 10, and I say this begrudgingly because it was the return of a classic writer, but it has to be The Eaters of Light. I liked it, but I just, you know, there was nothing wow about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there were no bad ones in Series 10. There were just no amazing ones either, apart from the finale.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I'd have to say, like you said, there was no really horrible ones. I mean, for Series 9, we had really amazing episodes, apart from Sleep No More. But I think Thin Ice would probably be my least favorite. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it's at the bottom of the pile in terms of, you know, how I list Series 10 episodes. So,
yes, yeah.
But yeah, I really liked the fact that they brought back a lot of classical elements as well for this series. I mean, we had a few classical species returning with the Movallans, the Alpha Centauri, and then we got the classic writer from Survival. So I think, and of course the Mondasian Cybermen. I really loved that aspect of Series 10 this year.
Yes, yeah, I do as well. Yeah, actually. It was just very well done.
I think it's great that they try to, you know, incorporate classic elements into it, because it's kind of like trying to keep in touch with the new, like those who haven't watched the classics, because there will be a lot of people who watched New Who but haven't watched the classics. So
yeah,
even though, and of course we have to talk about that ending in The Doctor Falls, another classic.
It's I got so much shit on my reaction for that.
What?
Yeah,
what?
I got so much because they were like, "Oh, you're acting." I was like, "Do you know what?" People will say what they like anyway, so I'm not bothered. But I was just like, I was absolutely gobsmacked, and I was just like, I just sat there. I was like, I don't know what to say. I was shaking, and one guy commented, "If you shake this much from a TV show, you need to get out more." And part of me was probably like, "Yeah, you're probably right," but I don't get out more, so leave me to it. But it was just incredible. It was absolutely a fist pumping, joyous moment that shocked me and I imagine millions of people around the world.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially the fact that they got David Bradley in as well. Returning.
I'm so happy it was him.
He did a really good job at playing William Hartnell in An Adventure in Space and Time. So I'm really glad that they brought him back.
Well, Liam.
Well,
I've never seen An Adventure in Space and Time. I have obviously seen the trailers and I heard all the buzz about him and everything. So I was glad to see that it was David Bradley when he did show up. But I've never actually sat down and watched that. I might do a reaction to it. Who knows?
I would love that. I think that would be great, actually. Like, if you haven't seen it, now's your chance to check out how David Bradley performs as William Hartnell. It's really beautiful.
We'll have to see what the people in the comments section say. If they weren't badly enough, I'll do a reaction to it.
Okay, people watching this, should Torchwood Boy react to Adventure in Space and Time? I mean, I imagine what the answer is going to be, but
I can see this going on Twitter later and everything, isn't it? This is going to be everywhere.
I can't believe it, though. I mean, I thought you of all people would have like watched An Adventure in Space.
It was the one thing I remember the 50th well, you know, and it was the one thing I just didn't watch.
Yeah, I mean,
I was hearing about Night of the Doctor to focus on that.
Oh. I mean, I was as well, especially how much I loved him in the TV movie. I was one of the guilty people who actually liked it. So, but yeah, I think we were all fangirling over that week, was it? Because it dropped a week before Day of the Doctor was released. But that was such an amazing time to be a Whovian.
It was probably the best time we'll ever experience, to be honest.
So overall, where would you rate this series to every single series that's been released of New Who so far?
Right. Well, I'm going to go by each season. So we'll start at season 1. It's not as good as season 1. It's better than season 2. It's not as good as season 3. It's definitely not as good as season 4 or 5. Season 6. Season 6, I'd say it's a little bit better than, although season 6 contains my favorite episode ever. So, you know, it's definitely better than season 7. It's not as good as season 8 or 9. So it's pretty middle to bottom, to be honest. But it was not because it was bad, because I don't think they've ever had a fully bad season ever. But if I had to pick the worst one, I'd say season 7 was the worst series. But series. I'm so American now.
I blame the CW shows.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm so used to saying season or whatever, especially when it comes to like shows I'm watching, like Red versus Blue now. Like, it's not. Like,
Ruby's like volume. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know that pain. Like, I'm tempted to say season. No, it's volume. God damn it. Anyway, they should just be simple.
I should get back on topic. So yeah, it's pretty low to the bottom, but it's not that it's bad. It's just that it didn't quite get to the quality of other seasons until the finale, which was probably the best season finale I've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I think I'd probably put it 4th, behind series 4, 5, and 9. So I'm not really sure. I'd probably have to, but so far, I would rate it as in my top 3, because, like you said, there's not been really any holy crap episodes as compared to the last 3. But no, I think it's still been good in terms of quality, and there hasn't really been any bad episode. Whereas, you could say there has been at least a mediocre episode for Series 9 and Series 8 and potentially Series 7. So
I think we definitely say there was definitely a bad episode in Series 9. I'm looking at you, Mark Gatiss.
I just loved that though when you began your reaction, put those expectations bar on the floor. That was just really great. I was like, oh god, here we go, Mark Gatiss.
Oh, it was just
let's go.
You never know what you're going to get with that man. You may get a brilliant episode like The Crimson Horror, or you may get a train wreck like Sleep No More. So you never know.
I actually noted how he actually shoehorned that episode title into the Empress of Mars. So
I didn't notice that.
No, I didn't until the second time around, because I usually watch these episodes twice. I'm not sure if I should for The Doctor Falls, because I'm not watching that moment towards the end where Bill says goodbye to the Doctor. So
I just wanted to hug you. I felt so bad for you. I was like, oh, this is awful.
I just couldn't cope anymore, and especially with, you know, what I think the overall tears began when Missy died. So
that was hard to watch,
because I didn't want to say goodbye to her, and it was so quick. And we obviously knew about the rumors about her leaving Doctor Who after this series, so it just kind of kicked in, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It was really, really good. It was really good, and you know, I just don't know how. I don't even know where it's going to go from here.
I'm expecting the Master to return. I mean, you can't kill off a classic like the Master. Like I said earlier, it's a challenge. It's a challenge for Chibnall to say, okay, do this cohesively and make it work, like I guess I did, because they did touch up upon how the Master managed to escape Gallifrey, because you were wondering how did he stop, you know, turning into Skeletor in the end of time. So
yes, that's true. Yeah.
So I'm glad they actually touched up upon that, but I prefer Missy, you know, being the cause of the Master's regeneration than his life cycle just being caught.
Yeah, I like that too.
So for Christmas, I mean, of course, we are knowing what we're going to expect by the end of the Christmas special.
I'm not ready.
No, I don't think all of us are, especially towards the final 5 minutes where he was just saying, "I'm not going to change. I don't want to keep being someone else," which was really heartbreaking.
I do love the moment where he woke up and he went, Sontaran's perverting the course of human history.
Yes.
Then he went, I don't want to go. And then he went, when the Doctor was me. And I thought it was just beautifully done. It really was. Especially
how he physically, I know I said this to you yesterday, but how he physically acted like 11 was just really good. And I'm still keeping to my word, and I might get hate for this as well, but 12 acted better than 10 did when he said, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
I kept watching that and I was like, you know what, that hits more at home than what Tennant did. I mean, Tennant was sad, but I think it would be a lot more emotional if 12 was to, you know, regenerate after he said that. That was really good. I don't know though. I think if he regenerated at the end of that, I think that would have been one of the most interesting and probably one of the best written ways to write him out as well. Because
to be honest, but I do like the idea that he's meeting the Doctor who has never regenerated before, so they're both going to sort of like help each other through the next change. Because I kind of understand.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of comments of people being like, I don't understand why the 12th Doctor doesn't want to regenerate. I don't get it. And I'm like, maybe you got to remember that this guy is now, what is he? He's so old. He's like over 2,000 years old. Surely he's tired of having to become someone else every single time. It must be hard work.
I guess it kind of depends on the personality as well, because
yes.
10 said the same comments. Some new man swantering away when he was discussing about his impending doom with Wilfred. And 11, you know, he knew his time was up, I guess, with the no more regeneration thing. But when the time came, he kind of accepted it. He was like, oh, this is it now. I've got a new lease of life. I've got a new reason to live on. And now 12, like you said, he doesn't want to do this again. And like you said, it's great that we've got the first Doctor who both helping each other accept change and that, which I also find really interesting that both of them are the first of their cycles. So
yeah, I think that's very cool as well. Which also reminds me of another hilarious comment from Missy and the Master when they went, well, we throw you off the building, but we don't know how many regenerations that you've got left. You could be up and down the stairs all night.
Oh, that I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see more of Missy and John Simm's Master interact a lot more. They were just delightful throughout, even through the tragic moments towards the end. They were just delightful throughout. Especially like their dance scene as well. That was just really, really amazing.
That was brilliant, yeah. Hold me, kiss me, make me.
It was just so brilliant. But I think Missy's been one of the best things about Series 10 this year, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, I really liked her for Series 8 and her short appearance, because she only appeared in 2 episodes for Series 9. But she was a complete delight in Series 10, especially when, you know, she was in the vault and they were discussing about how to defeat the monks and that, especially when Missy was saying, I'm wanting to do this because I want to be good in that, and your version of good is not absolute.
Yes, yeah, that's it. And if you're waiting for that, well, you're going to be waiting a very long time.
Yeah. The Gallifrey, this is Gallifrey music in the background, though. It's just so beautiful. I just love how they just did that. Like, the music has just been so brilliant.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I think the music, it's definitely upped its game from last season. The only one I could really recall last season was One Hell of a Bird, but it was actually, I was listening, it's actually a different theme this time because it ends differently. It doesn't end with the shh like it ended on the Hell of a Bird one. It ends differently this time.
Yeah, I think they did a different, it's kind of like, what was it? Tale of the Majestic Man in the Box. They kind of did a different one for that when they were saving Gallifrey. So I think it's just a different rendition of...
Yeah, and I can't wait to put my headphones in and run around my living room listening to it. It's going to be so fun.
Oh man, I could just imagine that.
We all do it.
Man, I don't know what's happening with that though, because apparently they don't release, I don't know, soundtracks anymore and that for Doctor Who. They've sold their rights or something like that. So I think yeah, that's why like I cannot find a clean version of One Hell of a Bird.
I know Connor Hickling did one. He's a YouTuber. Go check him out. And he did a rendition of it himself, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's brilliant.
I'm gonna have to search that because I want to.
I'll send you the link later on Facebook.
Woo. But
try my living room to that one as well many times.
That's. I mean, when I downloaded it, I think I just kept it on repeat, and I just imagined the Doctor saying that tale like over and over again in my head. It's just so beautiful and one of the best moments in Doctor Who history.
Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I was going to ask, I know we mentioned about the Doctor cause of the regeneration. Did you hear about the theory about, you know, I'm sure you have, about the Doctor is already regenerating from oxygen when he went blind?
Oh, right, okay. Yes, yeah. I got that theory, yeah.
Did you like how they actually did it, as in contrast to, you know, how it was theorized?
I did actually. I really did. Part of me wonders whether the body's just wearing a little bit thin as well. and that Cyberman blast was sort of like the last straw for it to kick it off. So I really am.
I actually like the fact that he's been. I mean, I know we're going about Regeneration again, and that in this kind plays for when he was resisting it with his words about him not wanting to be someone else. But I just loved through the entire episode how he was just fighting it off, and how he was like, it was really, really beautiful.
Yes, definitely, because I do like the idea that he's tired of changing into someone else. And I think it was done so well. And I which brings me to, and I think we've got to talk about it, Liam, the teardrop scene.
Oh, that was man. Just to clarify, are we talking about in the TARDIS or?
Yes, in the TARDIS. Yes, yeah.
Oh man, there was more than that teardrop being caused. I'll say that.
I know. I watched.
You watched. You felt sorry. I think a lot of people did as well. I mean, I didn't expect to cry in that episode at all, but
the whole scene for me, and you see my reaction. I sort of react so happy when they see Clara. And I think a lot of people were confused. I think they thought like, oh my God, that means Clara is his favorite character. And he's not. Donna's my favorite. Clara's my second favorite. But the reason I actually cheered was the fact that he remembered her.
Yeah.
Whether he did remember her or whether he remembered her voice, I guess we'll never know. But either way, it was very nice for his mind to sort of wake up a little bit and go, oh, that's Clara. And so I panicked a little bit, and I was like, oh my God. But it was just a big shock seeing all the companions. It was amazing. And then, like I said to you before, I kind of wish it had gone, it had done the order. And then instead of doing Clara, they'd have gone Amy, River, Missy, and then done Clara in the little segment they did for Missy, because I think that would have been a cool way of showing him remember her. But yeah. I do like what they did there, and it was a beautiful scene. And I also liked how as the Doctor came to, the TARDIS came to as well. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I know I spoke to this on yesterday, but to clarify in here, I mean, there's obviously a lot of confusion whether he does remember or not, because what I would like to happen is, of course, he might not remember her like by appearance, but he can remember her by voice, which is as good as we'll get. And you know, him just still on the floor with Clara's voice, just say "Doctor," and then him wake up. I think that was I mean, some people might not get it with everything that's going on,
yes,
so some people might be a bit confused, like who's that? So I think the appearance might have played a factor, so it can be like, oh, it's Clara and that, but whether he does remember or not is another thing. It's like you said, it's one of those questions that will probably never be answered unless we just interrogate Moffat at a Q&A or something.
Yes, very, very true. Very true. Which we definitely must do. We must find him and make him tell us all
we have to torture him through all the years of pain he's caused us.
We do. We really do. He deserves, for all the heartbreaks I've had to endure because of Moffat, he deserves nothing but endless kind suffering. You notice I put kind in there, but I didn't really mean it.
Quotation marks.
Yes.
So what else is there to really talk about? I mean, we talked about how great the finale was. And I know you were in deep shock in the final 5 minutes of World Enough in Time, which I think everyone was, because we had that moment where Bill was actually converted into a Cyberman. And were you actually worried there? Because there was a 2-week jump between the Doctor landing, which I know that picture that was just brilliant. I'll probably post it in the video when I get down to it.
It's going to be my thumbnail to link it to this video, so I hope you do.
Wow. But I was were you a bit worried that they found it, because you saw Bill as a human, but there was obviously that tragic reveal. But before that reveal, were you a bit worried that Bill was, I don't know, magically reconverted? Because there was a lot of like worries going around, especially with the advanced review.
Yeah, I did worry about it. I mean, I didn't watch the preview. I watched the next time trailer, but I try not to watch the trailers after that.
Yeah, I don't.
I was watching it, and I did wonder for a minute, but when I saw how Hazran reacted, I did kind of figure, right, she must still be a Cyberman, and she's sort of picturing herself as human, very Clara.
Yeah, I think that was done beautifully. The fact that we had like two different, like, because obviously it would be a bit weird for, you know, Bill to react and her to be upset about certain moments when we know a Cyberman wouldn't feel like that. I think it was beautifully done how they kept transitioning from her to her as she was like now.
Yeah, it was very well done. That actually, yeah, really well done.
But yeah, apart from that, I mean, I don't think we really have anything to talk about. I mean, we talked about how tragic and amazing the finale was.
I think it really is all about the finale, really, and how well it was done. We also got the first. I mean, we did get. I think we just better drop this in as well. But I know we did get Jack kissing the Doctor in series 1, and we also got the Doctor and Rory had a little smooch in Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, and we also got the kiss between. Oh God, I'm so sorry. Oh no, I forgot her name.
Describe.
What?
I'm trying to help you out. I'm not sure.
Jenny
series
and
8. Jenny,
Vastra.
yeah.
Sorry, Vastra. Yeah. When they when she was like, "Here, share my oxygen," and they kissed, but that wasn't really like a proper. We got a proper same-sex kiss between Heather and Bill, and I was very happy about it. I was like, yes,
that was good. I mean, I've heard a lot of people complain about she's bringing up the lesbian point too much.
Yeah, do you know what? I sort of did a bit of research into that, and it was like something like 6 out of the 12 episodes it was stated, 4 out of the 12 episodes it was actually shown, you know, and that was all sort of together. So for half the season, I don't understand the problem, really. It's part of the natural world, so
I guess it didn't really consume the entire episode, and I don't really. It was just a like brief notice, so
exactly.
I don't really have a problem, but I think it was just great that we've had like I guess lesbian companion in Doctor Who, because usually they'll either be straight and have affection for the Doctor whatnot.
Clara, you could say Clara was bisexual, I think, with Jane Austen.
I was going to say Jane Austen was like she was completely obsessed with her. But we've had that with others as well, like Captain Jack was as well, because he, I think, had a thing for Rose as well. But also he had that moment with Alonso as well.
Yes. But I think it is really good, and like it was nice to see it. And I've got to be honest, say so far, I'm sure it'll change. I'm sure it will. But so far, I don't know about you, but I haven't seen any like Ofcom complaints or people moaning about it. I haven't seen any yet.
It's like the Wolf ending.
I know.
Because usually we have like an article saying, "Oh, so and so, this scene is under investigation by Ofcom," and that, and I'm just like, "Oh."
And then Ofcom always look at it and go, "Don't be stupid." They're like,
I just never get like made, to be fair, because some of them are just downright stupid. I mean, yeah, going back to the Vastra and Jenny like sharing oxygen, that got a lot of hate because of how it was a lizard kissing Jenny and that, and I'm just like, it wasn't a kiss, it was sharing oxygen because they couldn't breathe and one was dying. Yes. Oh, but people will complain about the most stupidest things.
Well,
but
so far I haven't seen a single Ofcom anything for this, so I think maybe that's a good sign. I don't know.
I mean, does the Christmas special still technically count? Because I mean, if we're going to talk about going into a new era when Chibnall and this new Doctor arrives, should we consider series like the Christmas special as still part of series 10? And that's why we're saying thus far. No,
I don't know whether I think you'd probably have to consider it as series 11, which is nice because it's nice to think Capaldi got to series 11.
Just give us that little bit of hope.
Yes, yeah.
The $1 million question, though. Who do you think is going to be the next Doctor?
Well, I had a guy claiming to be, and I'll send you this message later, or a screenshot of it. I had a guy claiming to be one of the script sort of editors, you know, the people who go over the show editing.
Yeah.
And they are certain it's a woman. I don't believe it, honestly.
Ooh.
Well,
nice.
I will literally send you the message in a minute. And I'm not going to tell you the name of this person, but they said it's a woman. I don't know whether to believe them or not, because, you know, you can get a lot of people claiming to be, you know, whatever they want to be. But if it is true, I would love to see Olivia Colman give it a shot. I think she'd be brilliant. Or perhaps Hayley Atwell. All right, Liam, calm down.
I'm just so happy that if Peggy could return. Like, I mean, I've yet to see, you know, Agent Carter, but she was really great in the Captain America film. So
you'll like Agent Carter. But if it's a guy, a lot of people saying Chris Marshall, and I wouldn't mind Chris Marshall. I think he's quite funny. But I've got this thing that I'd love Rupert Grint to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Ron Weasley.
A lot of a lot of people have been wanting him to be the Doctor since, I guess, the 11th Doctor. So, and plus we haven't really heard much about him. I mean, Daniel Radcliffe has, you know, had a bit of a thing. Of course, Emma Watson has with Beauty and the Beast, but Rupert Grint, I'm not so really sure.
I would love to see it, but you know, time would tell.
Time will tell. But so if this was a woman, do you think they? I mean, I don't really see if like people are going to complain because they're going to be like, the Doctor should be a man and that. But I think given with Missy, I think that was a really good test run to a potential female Doctor, if anything.
Definitely. And I would love to see a female Doctor. I don't get the problem with it, but, you know, I think it's going to be one of those things that people will protest and protest and protest against until it happens, and then they'll go, oh, this isn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I mean, I did have a bit of a think about the Missy Master situation as well, because there was a bit of mythology in the books about how a Time Lord can change into a woman or vice versa. And this is stated about if a character commits suicide, which the Master did, didn't he? So when Missy
we also saw the Doctor shoot the General. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, wait, hang on, the General. But then again, we don't know what happened before then, so I'm not sure if it kind of.
And she did say that was her first time being a man. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. So maybe like the previous, she became the General as a man. Maybe there was some kind of suicide thing going on there, and maybe it kind of snaps back to the original template or something like that if they are killed naturally or something. I don't know. I'm not trying to, you know, try to excuse the whole gender thing, but I was just thinking, you know, what if that statement about, I think it was in Lungborough, the book, about Time Lord changing genders through suicide. I was thinking maybe that's true because that was a nice little callback for those who took notice about the books.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
I don't think the Doctor would be one to, you know, kill himself unless it was for the greater good. So,
well, that's it.
I mean, we've got to see what happens with David Bradley and Peter Capaldi as well, because obviously they're both at the. I'm sure it is, because I'm sure a lot of people and the way he dressed was from the 10th planet.
I think that's what is considered. Yes, yeah. I think that's definitely a very possible answer right now.
But we'll just have to wait and see. But I would absolutely welcome, and like depending, of course, if the actress is good enough, of course, say with the male doctors, but they've been really wise about their decisions with casting the Doctor. I mean, there will be initial heat at first, like they usually are with, I guess, every Doctor, but I'll be looking forward to seeing who the next Doctor will be, regardless.
Definitely.
For you, by the way.
Haha.
After seeing that image, I'm still holding on hope. The BBC have contacted you.
That is definitely my thumbnail for this video, for the link here.
That was just so amazing, especially the face you pulled as well. It was just so amazing as well.
Yes,
so certainly a different tone shifting compared to like how we were all like, wait, what?
I didn't actually expect anyone to Photoshop that when I did it, so I was only joking.
Yeah, I think I was watching and you said like, okay, that's a fan art, and I think you mentioned about the point about you being photoshopped there, but that was just a genius art. But yeah, I think we've really. No, I approve of it because it was just so great, and plus we've got to put his head on the Doctor's body as well. So, but just in case it doesn't happen, just in case Alex is not the 13th Doctor, so.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'm not trying to shoehorn myself in here as a companion, but if you did have a choice on who you would partner to be your companion, who would you choose? Any actress or actor in the world or whatnot?
Oh, I'm not sure. Wow.
Giving small hits to the BBC.
Oh, I'm honestly, I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure, but it's gonna be cool, whoever it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just hoping they don't go the traditional London companion route, because they've had so many companions from London. So
yes, definitely. I think only Amy from Ledworth, wasn't it? So
yeah, it was only, as far as I remember, it's only been Amy that has not been from London, which is a real change of heart. But let's spice it up a bit for series. If you're going to reboot the show, why not just have a little change of pace for? I mean, I don't know. Still make it in the UK or whatnot, but just not London, because there's other places in the UK, believe it or not.
Yes, definitely, without a doubt. But I'm just not sure from where. I like someone from like Sheffield or something. You know, like me,
of course. But no, overall, I think this year of Doctor Who has been something amazing, and I've really, really loved watching it as well. It's been so quick, to be fair, actually.
It has. It has flown, hasn't it?
It doesn't feel that long ago since I was like so prepared for the pilot, and well, now we have to wait till Christmas, which sucks because we've got that long gap and we know what's happening at the end. So
yeah, it's certainly going to be a different kind of experience now, having to wait 5 months, but I think it's going to be worth it.
And then you've got to think we've got to probably wait 9 more months after Christmas, because apparently they would usually get prepared for series 11 right now, but Chibnall's still writing and whatnot, so
yes, definitely
painful wait. But I'm sure that's one thing as well. I'm not sure where they're going with the next Doctor's announcement as well, because usually they would have, like, I don't know, announced it by now or a year in advance, like they did with well, they announced it around, did they? I'm trying to think, because yeah, they announced it around August and Matt was leaving in December, so we still might do, but we haven't really had anything about the next Doctor yet. In like,
that is true.
There were reports about it. You know, they were potentially going to announce it like about a couple of months back.
Well, the Doctor Who fan show is really popular now. So I think that they'll probably maybe announce it through there on YouTube and then maybe do a live thing on BBC.
I was just thinking that like they could do some kind of special live show, and it can also help populate the fan show as well a bit more, because it's obviously going to be a big event, the Doctor being announced. So yeah, I like that idea. So but whoever it is, I'm sure it's going to be a great choice.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
So that's all we really have about Doctor Who Series 10. Like you said, there's nothing really major to point out apart from the finale episodes and that. But all episodes have been good. We've talked about the great things about Series 10 and what we've enjoyed and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, I think that's really it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I guess we're going to wrap things up from here. It was wonderful to have you as a guest on this podcast, Alex.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I've been wanting this. Like, I was thinking we need a Doctor Who podcast, and I know who to contact. But no, it was really wonderful to have you along. It's been great discussing all this, all about Series 10 with you. And yeah, ready for our hearts to break even more in December.
No, I'm not ready.
Nobody is, not even Peter. So, but no, a big thank you to everyone who's been watching me and Alex discuss about Doctor Who Series 10. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed this. And until the next time, we will see you guys next time.
Yes, see you next time.